Good morning, 6th grade. Hopefully you guys had a great day yesterday. It was really nice to see you guys in the Zoom. Today we are going to talk about a new subject. So we're going to talk about the early expansion of the Muslim Empire. And we'll go ahead and jump into that right now. So we are going to talk about the early expansion. Today we're going to talk about how Muslim armies conquered many lands into which Islam was able to spread slowly through these conquered lands. So that's what we're talking about today. So you know that for years, traders traveled through Arabia to markets far, far away. Along the way, they picked up new goods and new ideas, and they introduced these to people that they met. Like I always tell you guys, not only are goods being traded, but also culture and ideas. Some of the new ideas the traders spread were Islamic ideas, and this is what helped spread Islam to far and distant lands. So, after Muhammad's death, his followers quickly chose to follow Abu Bakr, which was one of Muhammad's first converts, or one of his most followed leaders. And they chose him to be the next leader of Islam. Since he was the first caliph, it's a title that the Muslims use for the highest leaders of Islam, they made him the caliph, and he was pretty much the leader. In Arabic, the word caliph means successor. As Muhammad's successors, the caliphs had to follow the Prophet's examples. This meant ruling according to the Quran and also to the Sunnah. Unlike Muhammad, however, early caliphs were not religious leaders. They were just seen as political leaders because Muhammad was the one that was the religious leader. Though not a religious leader, Abu Bakr was political and a military leader. Under his rule, the Muslims began a series of wars in which they were able to conquer many lands outside of Arabia. So this guy, Abu Bakr, he was Muhammad's first people to follow him, and when he became leader, he was the highest leader, and he was called the Caliph. Abu Bakr, he directed a series of battles against the Arabian tribes who did not follow Muhammad's teaching. So anybody that did not convert to Muslims or to Islam was seen as a threat or an enemy to Abu Bakr. By his death in 634, he had made Arabia a unified Muslim state. With Arabia united, Muslim leaders turned their attention elsewhere, their armies. Strong after the battles in Arabia, won many stunning victories. They defeated the Persians and the Byzantine empires, which were also very weak from the years of fighting. When the Muslims conquered lands, they made treaties with non-Muslims there. These treaties listed rules that conquered people, often the Jews and the Christians or the people they took over, they had to follow these rules since they were going to be Muslim. For example, some non-Muslims could not build churches in Muslim cities or dress like Muslims. In return, Muslims would not attack them. One such treaty was the Pact of Umar, named after the second caliph. It was written about 637 after the Muslims conquered Syria. So what the Muslims would do was they would put out these strict laws and these rules for people to follow. If you didn't want to be tortured or killed or anything like that, or kicked out of Arabia, you had to follow these non-Muslim laws because you were non-Muslim. They still allowed you to practice your religion, but you just couldn't do certain things. Many early caliphs came from the Umayyad family. The Umayyads moved their capital from Medina to Damascus and continued to expand the empire. They took over lands in Central Asia and in northern India. The Umayyads also gained control of the eastern Mediterranean and conquered part of northern Africa. So if you can see the map, the Umayyads pretty much had all that colorful stuff. Okay. In the late 600s, though, battles with the Berbers slowed the growth of the Muslim rule in North Africa. These Berbers were native people of North Africa. And after years of fighting, many Berbers converted to Islam. Following their conversions, they joined the Arabians into the efforts of spreading Islam. Next, the Muslims tried to expand their empire into Europe. A combined Arabian and Berber army quickly invaded Spain in 711 and quickly conquered it. The army moved on to what is now France, but it was stopped by a Christian army near the city of Tours. Despite this defeat, Muslims called Moors continued to rule part of Spain for the next 700 years. In continuing the expansion, the new dynasty of the Abbasids came to power in 1750. The Abbasids reorganized the government to make it easier to rule such a large region. So the growth of the empire, they kept just conquering more and more people, converting them to Muslim, and then they eventually helped each other out, and they just kept growing and growing their empire that way. So as a quick review, we talked about Abu Bakr, how he became the caliph, the successor of Muhammad. And he wasn't a religious leader, but he was a political and military leader. And we talked about how he would go out and conquer many of the different lands and convert them to Muslim. If they didn't convert, they had to follow strict rules that they had to follow in order for them not to be kicked out of the Arabian area. And through this, they were able to conquer more and more lands and more territories, and helping everyone spread Islam. For homework, I want you to answer these 3 questions. Number 1, what role did armies play in spreading Islam? Number 2, how were the Muslims able to conquer both Persian and Byzantine empires? And number 3, why do you think the Umayyad caliphs moved the capital from Medina to Damascus? For number 3, I want you to look at the map, and that'll help you out. Look at where Medina is and look at where Damascus is. Medina is nowhere near the Mediterranean Sea, and Damascus is near the Mediterranean Sea. So this should be a hint for you guys. If you know everything about the Mediterranean Sea, this should help you figure out why they would move the capital. So that concludes our lesson for today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me through Google Classroom or anything like that, and I'll be glad to help you guys out. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and see you guys all tomorrow in our Friday Zoom.